Hello students, welcome to the BBMS class. So in the last video we saw the syllabus of unit 1, right? And then we also have discussed regarding some basic terminologies that come under the database, right? Then we also saw the 4 main functionalities of the DBMS, that is defining a database, and then construction of the database, and then manipulation of the database, and then sharing of database among multiple users or the multiple databases programs, right? So till here we saw. So today we will see some other features or say functions which are provided by the database management system. The first function that is provided by feature provided by the database management system is protection and also the maintenance of database system. Now, what is meant by protection here? See, the protection is nothing but it includes protecting your system against the hardware or software malfunction. In the sense, see, database, we are going to store it on one of the hardware. There will be a storage, right, hardware, on which your data will be stored on some disk, right? So something happens and that disk crashes, okay, or DBMS software, something happens and software is not working, software crashes. Then what next? What about the data which we have stored in the database, right? So it is nothing but the work of the database. It should give the protection against if any hardware failure occurs unexpectedly, if any hardware failure occurs, or even the software malfunctioning happens. Malfunctioning in the sense they may not work properly at particular time, some virus hacks will takes place, so all such things, right? Or even against the security protection against the unauthorized and malicious access. Suppose say if we consider any database, college database, if we consider, or say a scholarship database, right? So you are given a permission that you can log in with the student IDs, application IDs, right? So if you enter your IDs and your password, then only you are allowed to see that portal, scholarship portal, right? Otherwise you are not able to, right? So such type of security should be provided by the database management system. Means at any third party, any third person should not have authorization to access a particular database. Who is giving the authorization? Only that person is allowed to access the data which is there in the database. So this is the feature that can say protection in the sense what it includes the system protection, the complete system protection, the complete database management system protection against any hardware crashes or any hardware failures or any software malfunction. If it crashes, any software crashes, okay, crashes may happen even with virus attacks, right? And security protection against any unauthorized or malicious access, in the sense if I am not given authority to access that software, then I should not access that system, should not allow me to access it. I am a third party person, I cannot have access to your account, right? So if I try to access, it should provide an warning message, or it should not allow us to access it. Any malicious accesses should not happen to the database. It should provide that much of security. All right. Now, maintenance it over a long period. So what is a maintenance of with respect to this management system, so database management system? See, typically what happens, databases files will be larger. Say to store the data, complete data only we have implemented the database management system, right? So the large database systems may have a life cycle of many years, right? Now see, we can even view today, we can view the data which we have stored 100 years back also, right? 50 years back also. Such type of softwares are there, right? Even the database may have a life cycle of many years. So this database management system must be able to maintain that database system by allowing the system to evolve. Even it can allow a system to evolve as requirements change over time. See, since database will be having many years of lifespan, so when the database system was developed, only the user requirements were less, right? So when we do initially any development, even the requirements will be less, but as we grow on, as life is changing, day-to-day life requirements are also changing, what happens, even we may need to add some modules into the already existing database systems and all, right? So that database system should allow to add all those things, means it should allow to evolve the system as requirement change over this time, right? It should be able to adopt those requirements in the system. Okay, so these are the another two features of the database management system. Which are those are nothing but protection against the hardware or software failures, or security protection against the providing the security against the unauthorized, or we can say malicious access, right? And maintaining it over a long period of time, and allowing the database system to evolve as the requirements change over a period of time. And then yes, just see this diagram. So what all things we have here in this diagram is, so it's just a simplified database system environment. So what all things we are having here in the diagram, see, here we have user programs, and then the database system, this complete rectangle box is a database system. So what we have here, application programs and queries, and DBMS software. So basically what this DBMS software involves is software to process your queries and programs, and then software to access whatever data we have stored, and data will be stored where, data will be stored in the databases, and even database system will store the data regarding the stored databases. The data regarding the stored databases means what? See, just now we saw what all things are there in the database system environment, simplified database system environment. Users and programmers are needed, right? You want to access with any database. Suppose if I take the Facebook example, okay, Facebook is also having the a large quantity of database with it. Facebook is having what? It is having a large quantity of database because millions or trillions of users are there. Billions of users are using the Facebook. So that's what Facebook has its own database with it, associated with it. And now application programs and queries are there, right? So application programs and queries are nothing but whatever I want to access. Suppose say now already have stored some photos in my Facebook account. Now I want to access them. So how do you tell the system? I'll just click on the photos so that I'll get the queries photos. So in that photos also we are having so many options like uploads, shared photos, all those things. Now if you want to view just the uploaded photos, the photos which we have uploaded, then I will click on upload, right? So that is nothing but the query, that is nothing but my question, that is nothing but my query to the database software, to the system, to the Facebook database, that I want to view the photos which I have uploaded. Yes, I want to view the photos which I have uploaded. So that can be users or programmers will give that. Users, as a user I will click on the upload, and that query will be generated by the application programs or queries in the language which will be understood by your system, right? And in the DBMS software, that is in the database management software, we will be having a software which processes these queries or programs. So my request is show me the photos which I have uploaded, right? So the software, there will be the software in the database management system which will convert, which will process the queries and programs which the user has requested. Okay, so that your database management system will understand which kind of a data the user is requested, which type of a data the user has requested. Okay, after that there will be a software to access the stored data. There will be a software to access the stored data. So your DBMS software will understand which type of data that user has asked, and the software which is meant to provide the access to the stored data, what it will do, it will search in this stored database It will search in the stored database whether the requested data, whether the user requested data is available in my database or no. Is available in my database or no. If it is available, then that data will be again showed to the user or programmer, right? So internally, what will be there in the database will be stored on some of the storage medium, that is on any one of the disk. Along with the database data, it will also store the metadata. So as I discussed in the last video, metadata in the sense what? It is the data, it is a description about the databases. Whatever databases we have already stored, whatever databases we have already stored in the system regarding that is how many databases are there, how many tables are created in each database, which type of a data we are storing, how many columns are there in each table. So all such data, all such description of the database and each and every table of the database will be stored where? That will be stored in another disk. That is nothing but, and we call it as a catalog or dictionary or the metadata. Okay, so this is regarding the basic database system environment. So what all things we have here? So there will be a user or programmers who are going to interact with who are going to query, who are going to fire some queries, who are going to interact with the databases using some of the application programs, or they can directly write the queries which your database system will understand, and then those programs and queries will be passed to your DBMS system, and DBMS system will be having this software which will process the programs which the user has sent, or which will process the queries written by the programmers or the users, right? And there will be the software to access the stored data. That software will search in the database whether the data requested by the user or the programmer is available in my database. Okay, if it is available, then it will go to that place, and whatever data the user has requested or the programmer has requested, that data will be retrieved and shown to the user again, right? So this is regarding the database system environment. Now let's see one simple example of the database, one simple example of database regarding the university. Okay, regarding the university. So let's consider a simple example that most of us we are familiar with, that is the university database. That is a university database for maintaining the information concerning students, courses and grades in the university environment. Okay, now so what is my database? Since I'm considering a database for the university environment, what are the many entities that come under the university? See, university, in the university I have to consider the university is the big world, right? So in that big world, that is in that database, how many entities are, which all are the entities, which are the objects that come under that, which are the objects that come under the university database? That is, first thing is students. So without students, university cannot run, right? So students are must and should, right? So students are one entity. And then courses. University, of course, it should offer some courses. Without courses, universities are of no use, right? So courses are also the another entity of the university database. And then sections. So sections in the sense what? Different sections. These are the sections of the courses, right? Sections of the courses. Suppose, say, if there is a course available called computer science, and that computer science is having so many courses again, right? So many courses again, those courses will be having some numbers, IDs and all those things, right? So computer science can have a different courses like, say, machine learning, artificial intelligence, like that. Okay, and then academic departments. So departments are must and should. Without departments, or university cannot exist. So I can consider department also as an entity of the university database. And then instructors, yes. So instructors are nothing but the faculties, teaching faculties. So they are also must and should. And I'm going to consider here instructors as an entity. And now, what are the relationship between these entities? Yes, these are all the entities: students, courses, sections of courses, then academic departments and instructors. So these are all the real-time entities, objects which come under the university database. Now, what is the relationship between them? Yes, there exists, of course, a type of relationship, right? So if there is no relationship, then we don't consider them in a single group. We don't consider them in a single database group. So therefore there exists a relationship, right? So what is the relationship between that sections and the courses? Section is one of the entity, and course is another entity. So there should be a relation, right? So sections are of specific courses. So for each and every course in the university, if I'm having the sections, so that time I can say sections are of specific courses. Okay, sections are of specific courses. Say section, if I say 102 is my section, 102 is a section which is meant for the course CS. Okay, so section 85 which is meant for the course 85, like that. So sections are of some specific courses. R of is a relationship. Now, student and sections. So what is the relationship between the student entity and the sections entity? It is nothing but students take sections. Of course, when you are into one university, you have to take admission into, you have to take one section, right? So that you can attend the classes. So two students take sections. Take is a relationship between student and courses. Next, courses have prerequisite courses, in the sense, say suppose now if you have admitted to the BCA, if you want to do the BCA course, so what are the prerequisites? What are the prerequisites? That you should pass the PUC second year. You should pass the PUC, that is 12th standard. You should pass the 12th standard with a minimum of say around 45%. Agree, 45% result, right? So that is a prerequisite. What are the prerequisite? And suppose if you want to take say any course, if you want to take any course, some course name is say CS3320, if you want to do that, then prerequisite course is you have to pass another course there, right? So that is the thing with the prerequisite course. Next, what is the relationship between instructor and the sections? Instructors are nothing but the faculties, and the sections are nothing but like a particular division, right? So instructors, what they do, they teach particular sections. See, I am an instructor, I teach for the BCA, so there will be another faculty who teaches for the section BCA 1, like that, right? So instructor teach the sections, instructor teach for a particular sections. Now, next is the relationship between courses and the department. So, the relationship between courses and department is, courses are offered by department. Particular courses are offered by the department. So, departments are going to offer particular courses. The relationship between courses and department here is are offered by. And then we have students and department. The relationship between student and department is here, students major in departments. Suppose I have taken the BCA, so that I can say that I major in the computer science, I major in this subject, so I major in BCA department, right? So if any student has taken admission for BBA, then I can say student major in BBA, right? So what is this? What we have seen here, the database is nothing but, suppose if I consider here, I have considered the university environment, so university database. So in that university, which all are the things come, which are the objects that come, which are the entities that come. So those we have to recognize first. So with respect to university, we have recognized here the students, courses, sections, departments and the instructors. So it's not limited and it's not the fixed one. So there can be many more entities. So as of now, for this example, we are restricting it only for these entities. Now, so when entities exist, what we need to find? We need to find what is the relationship between those entities. So of course, if in one system we are including the entities, means there will be this a kind of a relationship between those entities. So we have to first identify what are the relationship among those entities. Okay, then we can build one complete database, then we can build a conceptual data model for this particular word. Okay, now let's see, since we have seen that these are the entities of university. So just see this diagram. So what are things we have included here? So it's nothing but this is how the database looks like. This is how the database looks like. Okay, so since in this course we are going to study the type of database, that is relational database. So which type of database we are going to study here? That is the relational database. Okay, so in the relational database, what happens? Data will be stored in the form of rows and columns, like in this, in the form of table only. Now if you consider the student table here, if we consider here the student table, student is one entity of the university. If I consider student as an entity of the university, there can be any number of students. There can be university in the sense, of course, there will be more number. Thousands of students will be studying in university, right? In a college, hundreds of students will study. In a university, thousands. Even some universities are having lakhs together students. So if I have a table for the student, so these are all what the columns: name, student number, class, major. This is just an example taken for the to represent what it is, how the database look like. Okay, so these are the attributes. So attributes are nothing but, these are nothing but the characteristics of that student, we can say. Okay, these are the properties of that student. So what are the properties of that student with respect to this table? Student has a name, students are having the number, and they belong to a particular class, and they will be major in particular department, right? So that is what here the data given. So we have two entries in this as of now, means only just small part is shown for us. Smith, his number is 17 and he belongs to the class 1. He is major in the department CS. All right. Similarly for Brown is another student, then his student number is 8. The class for which he belongs to is 2, and he is major in the subject CS. All right. Similarly, now if you see another table, another relation, another entity, say course of the university. Now different courses that university is providing is introduction to computer science, and then data structure, then discrete mathematics, then database. And each course name is assigned a course number, so that we can see in the second column. Each course name is assigned a course number. Okay, and for each and every course, credits are assigned, credit hours are assigned, that is 4433, and that each particular course belongs to one particular department, right? So computer science is belonging to the department CS, data structure also belongs to the department CS, discrete mathematical, that belongs to the maths department, database also belongs to the CS department, right? So like this we can form a table in the database. Now moving on to the next relation, that is section. Okay, possible values, these are just the possible values. These are the, it's not that only these things should be there, these are the possible, depends on us. When we are creating the database, depends on us, we can choose the entities, and then we can have these type of tables there. Okay, so in the section, what we have here, section identifier, means the section ID is there. Then we have the course number for which that section belongs to, right? For which that section belongs to. Just now we have seen the relationship between sections and the courses is what sections are of specific courses. Now in this example database, section 85 is of course maths 2410, right? Okay, now that comes under the semester, fall semester, for the year 7th year. And then instructor is nothing but the faculty or the teaching faculty name they are. Similarly, the remaining entries of that section table. And then we have a grade report table. Yes, grade report table here. grades are assigned based on some calculation, so that will be done in the background. So student number is there 17, and section identifier, that is 112, for which section he belongs to, and in that section what is the grade point that he got here is B, right? So in that section, that particular student called number 817 of the section 112, he has got a grade as B. Like this, for a section 117 he got a grade as C, and student number 8 for the section 85 he got a grade as A. Similarly, student 8 for the section 92 got the grade as A. So this is the data that we can enter in the grade report. So it depends on us which type of data we enter, like that we can modify it, right? So it's just an example. Now prerequisite. So as I told, like if we want to take the admission for BCA, what is the prerequisite? The prerequisite is we should have completed the PUC. Okay, we should have completed the second year science or say commerce, right? So similarly, in this example they have taken prerequisite. If you want to do the course CS 3380, if you want to do this course, then we should have completed this CS 3320 course. We should have completed this CS 3320 course. So that is the requirement to do the course CS 3080. Along with that, we should also have been completed this Maths 2410. If you want to take the admission for the CS 3318 course, right? So it's just the database. It's just the database for the university. It's just the database for the university according to the author who has written this. Okay, it depends on us. It depends on us. It depends on our requirement. We can choose the different type of entities. Entities are nothing but for the different type of tables, and which type of data I want to store in that. For the student, it's not only the name I want to store. I want to store his complete details, like his register numbers, his names, even his address, then his previous year marks, the class he belongs to, the college that he belongs to. Suppose if I want to store all this information, then what can I do? I can create the columns for particular information, and I can store that data in my table, that is which is required for me, right? So this is just an example shown for you. Database will be like this. Okay, so data we are going to store in the form of tables, right? So what we have discussed in this video is, we saw some other functions of the DBMS. That is what is that? First one is protection. Protection against what? Protection against the hardware and software malfunction, in the sense any crashes, and also providing the security against any unauthorized or malicious accesses. Okay, any third party should not have access to my account. So that is database system. Each and every database system should have this facility. Then only we can call this as a good database management system. And then maintaining it over a long period of time. See, since typically most of the database systems, not only with respect to database, any softwares will be having a life cycle of many years, right? So the DBMS must be able to maintain that system. It should be able to maintain. How it should be able to maintain? When I can say that it's a maintained software, if that system is able to evolve, if that system is able to evolve with respect to what, since the requirements change, so that system must be able to adapt to that requirements. Means it should be able to change. It should be able to incorporate those changes as the time changes. Okay, as the time as the time changes. And then we saw the simplified database system environment. So which are the components come under this is, users and programmers will be there, who will query the system through the application programs or the commands, that is through the queries. And there will be a software to process those queries or the programs which have come from the users or programs. And inside the database management system software, there will be the software which accesses the stored data based on the queries that the user has fired. Based on that, if the data is available in my database, then the database software system will fetch that data, and it will return that data to the user. And then we saw one conceptual data model with respect to the university. So these are the different entities that come under the university, and we just saw what kind of relationships exist between those different entities of the what kind of relationships exist between those different entities of the university. Okay, then we just saw here the database, how does it look like. So in the database it will be having multiple tables, and each and every table will be having entries in the form of rows and columns. Okay, so in the next video I'll be talking about the characteristics of the database.